What about the Bosnian pyramids? I haven't seen them, so my judgment is purely on what others are saying about it. The reason I heard of Samir is, as is well known in my business, I'm in big conflict with the ex-minister of antiquities in Egypt, and so is he, by the way, a fellow called Zaki Hawass, who's now out of the system. But uh, I got to hear that, because I was very much in opposition to this man. He was against my theories and so forth. And I got to hear that he was doing the same to Samir. And there was a conference in Italy in the Adriatic coast, and I think it was in 2010 or 11, I can't remember, where Samir was there, and we talked about this. Uh, I am I'm a bit skeptical because one of my colleagues, Dr. Robert Schock is the man who made a big fuss quite a long time ago about the age of the Sphinx. He's a geologist at Boston University. Now, Robert Schock is in pursuit since the early 90s. He's a geologist, a top geologist, and he's in pursuit of ancient civilization. He's convinced that civilization is much older. He's been studying, for example, recently Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. He's been very much involved with the studies of the Sphinx in Egypt, believing that it's a much older monument than Egyptologists think. So he is very keen to find monuments that are ancient and very ancient. He went to see the Bosnian pyramids, and from his point of view, he doesn't think that they are artificial. They're terraformed. I mean, I have no doubt. I know there's new information that's coming out. I meet a lot of people who've actually worked on them because many students go and offer their volunteer work. And whether they are pyramids in the sense that they were built pyramids, like the pyramids of Egypt, I'm not so sure. But they are terraformed. Maybe there were hills that were cut and formed. I mean, this is in China, for example. We have examples of this. There is no doubt. I've seen pictures of heavy stones, clearly man-handled, that are part of the structure. There is probably a lot more if one excavates there. I would go as far as saying it's more than likely ancient monuments that were terraformed. Now, whether they're part of a worldwide pyramid system, and speaking of which, by the way, since you've asked the question of the Bosnian pyramids, although my speciality is the pyramids of Egypt, I mean, that's my thing. I have, of course, been involved with other researchers. My colleague, my co-author, Graham Hancock, has studied the pyramids of South America, of Mesoamerica. I met many authors who have explored the pyramids of China. There are pyramids coming out everywhere these days. I mean, I'm hearing pyramids in Mexico, well, we know that, but other pyramids that appear in Central America, I'm not quite sure. I'm beginning to think that there might have been a megalithic, prehistoric culture. For lack of better words, we're beginning to kind of sense it. There's too much common denominators. There is stone building with big stones. Very often these stone structures are aligned to stars or to rising points of the sun or the moon. So there is astronomy, there's large stones, and there seems to be something always with rituals, with rebirth rituals. There seems to be a common denominator. The impression I'm getting, again without having taken it, trying to link up with various people who study. For example, I live in Spain. I was not aware until I went to live in Spain that there is a lot of these large megalithic structures. The island of Mallorca, the island of Minorca, inland Spain, very mysterious stone structures. Malta. There seems to be a belt going from Eastern Europe. I was in Bulgaria recently. In fact, I'm going to Bulgaria in July. Again, these areas I didn't know. Like Bosnia, they're finding out that there are they're megalithic structures that they thought were more recent, and now questions are being asked. I'm going there to do a program, by the way, with Robert Schoch and Thomas Brophy, an astrophysicist, because suddenly we're waking up that the possibilities that monuments in Bulgaria and Romania, Bosnia, and various places might be part of a more global thing. And it seems to be from Eastern Europe, well, Egypt, going through the Levant, Eastern Europe. There seems to be a belt along the Mediterranean coast, Malta, Majorca, like I said, Sardinia, going out of the Mediterranean to Tenerife, right outside the Atlantic. And then, you know, so there seems to be something that indicates the possibility of a lost prehistoric megalithic society. Why they were placing monuments in various places is still unclear. People are beginning to suggest that maybe they were kind of a grid. Maybe they were like GPSs, if you like, that the Earth was gridded, that you could navigate the Earth and know where you are using those monuments, using their directions. It's a possibility. The reason I'm beginning to think this is that we've discovered structures not as big as pyramids, but in the western deserts of Egypt, that are clearly prehistoric, predating the pyramids, probably by thousands of years, that exhibit the same ideas of astronomical alignments. And they're scattered in this vast desert region, the Sahara. We're hearing more and more of these things. And the impression you get when you see those sites, some of them are were uninhabited, like stone circles with stone alignments. I'll be speaking about this a bit tonight as well. Without any human habitation. They seem to have been placed there. And the impression you get is that they were used for navigation, earthly navigation, to move around from place to place. And when you hit one of these places, you knew where you were, because you could work out, like a navigator does, you know, you could work out the position of the stars, the directions, your latitude, longitudes. So it seems that the world was gridded. We've lost these people. I'm always using words like maybe and seems because we're not sure. I'm one of those that until I touch it, you know. So I think maybe the Bosnian pyramids are part of this. It's a strong possibility.